Today, 300 economists signed the letter, opposing another letter, by the way, there's been lots of them, opposing Donald Trump's presidency, saying his trade agenda will backfire by raising prices on consumers. Our next guest has a different view. Oren Cass writes that many economists say that a vote for Trump is a vote for inflation, and in making that argument, those economists are abandoning some of their most basic analytical principles. Oren Cass is the founder and chief economist at American Compass. He was the domestic policy director for Mitt Romney's 2012 presidential campaign. I am delighted, sir, that you have taken time and you're joining me now. On this tariffs point, how do you justify when just about everybody says the tariffs will be paid for by consumers and importers in higher prices, and they will not raise enough money for deficit reduction or greater spending? It's just not economic sense.
Well, respectfully, that doesn't make any sense. You certainly won't eliminate the deficit with tariffs, but tariffs do generate revenue, and if you use that to reduce the deficit will be lower. I don't know anyone who disagrees with that point. I think more importantly, it's really important to remember that the last time we heard this much extraordinarily confident consensus among economists, it was, of course, when they were unanimously telling the American people we needed to eliminate our tariffs on China and welcome China into the World Trade Organization because free trade with China would be wonderful for America. And they got that exactly wrong, and they're getting it exactly wrong again because economists don't think very well about trade. All they can think about is the wonders of free markets, and they can't wrap their heads around the idea that a free trade with China is not free markets. Free trade with China is leaving yourself at the mercy of the Chinese Communist Party.
I think there's a consensus on targeted tariffs, as we talked about on this program last night. Targeted tariffs are all very fair and good, but it's the Trump proposal for across the board. 20-odd% is the number we hear on all imports, even higher on China. Now, let's put the China issue to one side for a second. I'm more concerned about the 20 or so% on all imports. That will push up inflation, and that will cost consumers up to $2,500, according to the Peterson Institute.
Well, the Peterson Institute study, I'm afraid, is a bit embarrassing because all they did was look at the total amount of money that people spend in the economy and assume that essentially every dollar of tariff imposed was going to be paid directly by consumers. Now, it's absolutely true that consumers pay some of the cost of a tariff. But we equally know that they don't pay the entire cost of the tariff. And we know that looking at the experience of those Trump tariffs on China, when there's a wide range of studies finding all sorts of effects. Frankly, it's a very messy situation. But this is a perfect example where if you're the Peterson Institute, you're not actually interested in thinking about this very difficult issue seriously. You're interested in putting out a paper that makes tariffs sound scary and then having it reported that way on the news. But we keep having to go back. I don't know why we would put the China question to the side. The China question is that at the heart of this, and economists got it exactly wrong.
The issue, of course, on taxes and spending that the Trump administration would be putting forward. The rise in the deficit. Again, Goldman, a variety of others all say that vis-a-vis the two proposals of Harris versus Trump, the Trump proposals raise the deficit by many billions more over the next 10 to 15 years, or however you want to. In other words, it's a deficit-busting agenda. I'm imagining don't accept that.
Although that's absolutely true. If you're looking at the tax cuts that Trump has talked about, if you were to try to do them all, they would be outrageously expensive. And I think, if you look at the Harris budget, it is a deficit buster also. The reality is we don't have serious budget proposals coming from either side right now, and we're going to have to both find a way to raise more revenue and a way to reduce spending significantly. Again, I think that's something that the American people seem to understand a lot better than a lot of our policymakers do.
I'm grateful, sir. Thank you. However this election turns out, we look forward to having you more often on Quest Means Business to give us your perspective. I'm grateful for your time tonight. Thank you.